Inspired by the life of the savvy and ambitious Colombian businesswoman Griselda Blanco comes a new Netflix original limited series. Griselda tells the story of a devoted mother who, with her lethal blend of charm and relentless savagery, creates one of the most powerful cartels in history. Witness Sofia Vergara's captivating transformation into the godmother of the underworld. Griselda, streaming January 25th, only on Netflix.
Listen to the 48 Hours podcast for shocking murder cases and compelling real-life dramas from one of television's most watched true crime shows. Go behind the scenes of each episode with award-winning CBS News correspondents and producers in Postmortem, a weekly deep dive. Listen to 48 Hours wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Debbie, your host of No Waco, and today we have a very special guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Wheat-Johnson, and I work with Creative Waco.
Yeah, and what brought you to Waco, or are you Waco native?
Well, I am not a native.
Shock.
Yeah, I know. You couldn't tell by my distinguished accent that I'm not.
No,
Waco
I could not.
Yeah, so basically, I came to Waco about 8 years ago. We thought it was going to be a temporary thing.
Wow.
My husband had been working in Georgia as a teacher there, and the school there closed its doors.
Yeah.
And we thought, well, my parents were here at that point. My dad was working in ministry, and we thought, well, we'll just stay there until we find out what's next.
Probably Wheat.
Yeah, that's right. Follow @Woods by Wheat.
There you go.
On Instagram. Whoa.
Shout out. We're in sync.
Yes, we are.
We've totally never done this before.
Never,
not even once.
So anyway, yeah, that's how we got here.
Mm-hmm.
Eric and I both kind of grew up all over the place.
Yeah.
I was born in Zimbabwe,
That's
and
crazy.
he's a military brat.
Yeah,
So
I was born in Germany. I was also a military brat.
he
Well,
needs
not
to
for most of
swap
my life.
stories with you on Germany
I
because
don't know
he
anything.
loved living there.
I was a baby,
so now you need to revisit.
Yeah, that my goal is by the time I'm 30 to take my mom back to Germany. So my goal is to buy her a plane ticket and just say we're going.
I love that.
And then just see what happens.
I love it. I love it.
That'd be my dream.
Yeah, I love that. So yeah, as a third culture kid, someone who's moved around a lot, Waco, we just thought was sort of another stop on the map. But actually, we have now, both of us collectively, lived here the longest anywhere else.
That's so fun.
And as it happened, it was like good timing that we came here when we did. We found out a couple years after we moved here that our son had leukemia, and my parents were here in town. My brother was here in town. So we had family support that we wouldn't have had if we were living in another state.
Yeah.
So
It's crazy how timing happens.
it is crazy. And we were so grateful for that at the time. And it's interesting because, again, growing up and moving everywhere, you don't grow the same kinds of roots, right? And so I think that was a moment in our lives where we were able to kind of look around and take stock of where we were and kind of recognize, I think, some of the opportunities that are in this city, and some of the connections. And then when you are supporting someone who is going through that kind of intensive treatment. So I was primary caregiver in a lot of ways in and out of the hospital with my son, who was 3.5 when he was diagnosed. I started searching for creative outlets, things to do that would help kind of, I think, ground me and get me through.
Yeah.
My background's in professional theater.
Theater.
Yes.
Shout out.
Yes.
We love us some theater majors.
So, yeah. I mean, hey, when you're a theater major, you can do anything.
Yeah.
That's just the truth.
It's true.
Yeah.
And you learn everything. You learn every skill you need to have.
Mm-hmm. So it's totally paid off for me.
You just pretend. So you make it.
That might be like my byline. Yeah.
Maybe on my tombstone.
Yeah. I think, actually, wait, it's on Facebook right now. My little
Your little bio.
or whatever is something like, I know just enough to be dangerous.
Ooh, I like that. I'm afraid of that.
Yeah. So my knowing just enough to be dangerous. I was looking for an outlet when we moved here. So I showed up at a couple of workshops at this organization called Creative Waco.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, never. And at that point I was just like, well, maybe I can volunteer for something. I think it'd be good to get out of the house, do something beyond momming.
A minute, just a little volunteering, nothing major.
2-3 days later, after that workshop was over, the workshop was awesome. It was from Artwork Cincinnati, which I had a personal connection to because I actually knew them when I lived in Cincinnati.
Wow, your nomad lifestyle.
Yes, exactly. See, it pays off. It pays off to move around. But anyways, made that connection, enjoyed the workshop thoroughly, started making all these wonderful connections with local artists, and just kind of that was a moment where I knew there was a lot going on, but that was that moment where I was like, oh, I could connect to this. I could do something maybe that would be significant.
Space.
Yes. So at the end of that, Fiona Bond, always, turned to me and just said, I hope you know that I'm considering you to be the project manager for this.
I love the British accent.
Yes, always.
She can tell me anything in the British accent. I'd be like, laughing. Can you please bring me some toilet paper upstairs? I'd be like, oh, yes, ma'am, I'm so sorry.
It is useful in this culture. The funny thing is I sounded a lot like her when I moved back from Zimbabwe, but that's a whole other sideline we could go down. I'm not going to.
I know, no accent.
If you get Fiona and I in the same room, after all, I start sounding more like I did at that point in my life. So we rub off on each other, or she rubs off on me. That's probably what it is.
That's probably better.
That's accurate. Yeah. But anyways, at that moment, she, this was 4 years ago. She said, I'm hoping you can do this. They just so happened to have the right funding in hand, and the summer was coming up, and they were like, we could do this in 5 weeks.
5 weeks, 0 to 100, real fast. Everything in Waco happens summer.
Yeah, so we did it, and it was wonderful.
Yeah, and so now you guys have been doing this for 4 years.
4 years.
So you're part of the art apprenticeship program. So art apprenticeship.
Yep.
Put together art apprenticeship.
Yes.
A lot of times I say it and people are like, a what?
Yeah. Like, it's a mouthful.
Okay, it's art apprenticeship. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. That may actually be another, I don't know. I need to ask her this, but I believe it's a Fiona invention. Art
I love it.
Apprenticeship.
10 out of 10.
But yeah, the genesis of that was that a lot of people sort of either on the board of Creative Waco or within the city itself, and a lot of entrepreneurs have been talking about, wouldn't it be wonderful to have a program that could sort of empower young creatives and allow them to see the possibility of either going into freelance work for themselves, using their creative skills in a professional environment, and having those moments, and then allowing them to also see the value of their work. So art apprenticeship is a paid opportunity both for our apprentices and our artist mentors that we hire in every year. So it's a valuable, I think, process for them. So that board and so many, I think the Greater Waco Chamber was involved, and so many others. It was just before my time, got involved. And in fact, what's really cool is the mural that we're going to be celebrating tonight that we just completed at Triple Win is going to be dedicated to one of those founding members,
that's
Terry
so fantastic.
Stevens. Yes.
Shout out.
Yes. So Terry and Elaine Stevens were a huge part of helping that. And they really believed, I think, in just instilling those kinds of values in our young creatives and supporting that kind of work. He passed away recently, and we were able to dedicate this to him.
Wow.
So it's going to be a really special evening.
That's fantastic.
And we're really looking forward to that. And of course, it aligned beautifully because he also worked with aviation and aerospace.
Oh, wow.
So,
and there's a giant rocket ship on the mural.
And an astronaut.
And an astronaut.
Like all the things, right?
That's so fantastic.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. So you guys are doing this one with Triple Win. And what are some other ones that you guys did?
Yeah. So if you drive around Waco, and my kids love doing this, they actually will greet the murals as we drive by them.
That's so sweet.
They're kind of sweet sometimes.
Sometimes.
So the first one was Thousand Hopes for Waco, and that was designed by Will Suarez, who is
High Def
incredible.
Willie, shout out.
Yes. So that one is on the side of Putters and 900 Degrees Pizza.
And it was before they even existed.
That's right.
Back in the day.
Like there was nothing in that building when we were
just
painting.
a wall.
In fact, there was no water in that building, which was really fun when you're trying
How
to
do
clean.
you have paintbrushes?
So bless his soul, Jonathan Garza, Turner Brothers. He was the one, I think, managing that property at the time. And I called him, I don't know how many times, Jonathan, the hose we're running from the other building is not working.
Oh, no.
And that was the first time I'd met him. I felt like, oh my goodness, I'm just bothering you for everything. Yeah. But he was lovely. So that was the first one. We've done The Spirit of We over at Brother Well. That's Richard Thomas who designed that. Oh, beautiful, designed by a New Orleans artist. So it's like a dreamscape. I love that one. And then we also, that same summer, did one for the MLK Community Clinic.
That's crazy. In the same summer.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was a lot. We learned a lot that year. And then COVID hit.
Yes.
And we were like, oh my gosh, are we going to be able to do
what
anything?
we're doing? Yeah.
But we were very lucky to partner with the Cove even in the early months and get an interior mural done, which was a first for us.
Aww.
And Julie Cervantes designed that one.
Shout out, Julie.
And it was
Love
a
you.
really, really beautiful process.
I love that one. And it's fantastic.
That was a really sweet, I think, moment for all of us too.
Yeah.
We were all just like, what's going to happen next? So
We're at home.
Cool.
What are we going to do?
Yeah. I think that was mostly designed on Zoom.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Zoom days.
Ugh, sometimes the Zoom days still exist.
I'm scared.
And then we did the one on Elm Avenue in East Waco, Tree of Life.
Yes,
and that's
with
Vincent, Cade and Vincent. So Cade Kageris, Vincent Thomas, who were good friends already, and then were so gracious to collaborate on that one, which I think was really beautiful in 2020.
Yeah.
And they really worked hard to honor the spirit of that community.
East Waco.
Yeah.
I
And
love all the
so
historical
vibrant.
moments on it.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorite. I wrote a whole piece in dedication for Act Ugly Waco on it.
Yes, we love it.
So very fun. And then most recently, the Dr. Pepper Museum.
Which is
so
a
cute.
stunner.
I love it.
I do too. It was a lot of fun. So Mick Burson designed that one, and he did a lot of really cool references to a lot of the Dr. Pepper sort
like
of classic
iconography and like kind of like their cheeky little characters and like old marketing.
What's fun about what's fun about that is I don't think most people realize how much art is in that museum.
Oh yeah.
And so
marketing
that was
is
just
art.
Really neat. Yes.
As a graphic designer.
100%. So that was a lot of fun. Even while the city was tearing up the sidewalk, it was still fun.
Great. Yeah. And you guys actually got to do a mini exhibit in the Dr. Pepper Museum last year. So tell me about that.
Yeah. So that was a first time opportunity for us. And really, I mean, that's a big shout out to the Dr. Pepper Museum staff because they were generous enough to like allocate some space for it and so on. So we challenged our visual art apprentices to create some personal pieces. That year, our mentors challenged them to speak about their culture. And,
that's amazing.
So really beautiful stuff came out of that. And I think the bigger thing was we recognized that the mural is always amazing to do, but this is sort of that next iteration or opportunity is maybe studio art and figuring out a way to introduce our apprentices to the process of creating a show at a gallery.
Yeah.
So, of course, this year...
They got a show in a gallery.
We did was a show in a gallery, and it was a lot of fun. This year, we were able to give them the fuller opportunity to do sort of an immersive experience, which we called Reflections. Yes, at Cultivate 712.
Shout out.
Yay. Well, and that was so much fun. And... it was really cool, actually, and it is every time we do this. So I think every year, at one point or another, our apprentices have walked into Cultivate 712.
And they brought their friends and like everything, too.
Yes, but that first moment when they walk in and they look around and see all of this art, and they're like, this is in Waco?
Yeah.
You know, for a lot of our young people who maybe just don't come downtown.
Yeah.
They don't know.
They don't know.
Some of them do, but I think it's really a sweet moment for them, and then for them to actually sit in that back gallery space when we first talked about doing the show
and visualize it.
Yeah, and you can just see like the sparks fly.
Oh, That's so sweet.
What can we do in here? This is our space.
Yeah.
So they really appreciated that. And now I've actually packed up all those pieces.
And they'll be here tonight.
Yeah, that's right. So they will be in the Triple Win Makerspace tonight. And our staff has kind of just reassembled that. Obviously not with the same
mini gallery. Je ne
flair.
sais quoi.
Yes. See. So that's there.
Yeah.
The other component, though, I really want to shout out is, of course, that we do, starting in 2020, we started doing filmmaking as well. Just dabbling in
just a little bit
area. So the first year we were able to work with Andreas Salomas, who is incredible.
Love him.
Yes,
Shout out.
Yes. So, amazing photographer, videographer, creative at large, and of course, coffee roaster.
Yes. Thirst.
I need some coffee. So that was amazing. So that was the first year we did the filmmaking. Waco ISD really helped in that area too. Justin Sanchez there really was a great supporter. Thank you, University High.
Yeah.
And then
getting
the last
kiddos involved. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my goodness. And then the last 2 years, of course, we've been lucky to work with Mike Hamilton and everyone at
Rogue
Rogue
Media.
So
that's us.
Yeah. So their challenge for our film apprentices is to create a short form documentary.
Oh, that's going to be so cute.
Yes. So we've done that. This is the third year and we'll premiere that tonight. There is a big Jumbotron screen that's going to be delivered adjacent to the Triple Win space so everyone can watch the documentary.
That's going to be so fun.
Yeah.
And now for a word from our sponsors.
TIAA is on a mission. Why? Because 54% of Black Americans don't have enough savings to retire. So in collaboration with big-name artists like Wyclef Jean, TIAA released Paper Right, new music inspiring a new financial future. With 100% of streaming sales going to a nonprofit that teaches students how to invest. Stream Paper Right now and help close the gap.
Bros and hoes and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and hoes and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Mike.
And we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros Foes Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Bros and Foes and Heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
911, what's your emergency?
Do you hear that? It's coming from the house.
It's coming from inside the house? Do you mean? Could it be?
The Poltergeist. New from Rogue Media. Two haunted hotties talking about haunted places. Every episode we dive deep into the darkest places and give you a bit of history.
We're getting spooky in all the right places.
You've gobbled your last ghoul.
Follow along for the craziest and spookiest stories with Debbie's Dark Tourism. The Stanley Hotel,
Winchester House,
The Alamo,
Hotel Monte Vista,
and more spooky places. Find us at _Poltergals. POLTERGALS.
Look over your shoulder. It's us,
the Poltergals. Wherever you consume the podcast, you can find us there.
Welcome to One Star Rewind, a new podcast about those dreaded one-star reviews that every business owner hates to receive, but yet every customer loves to read. During this podcast, we will peel back that one-star review to better understand how it happened, when it happened, and what the business owner is doing after receiving that one-star review. This podcast will be about love, hate, and laughter. On One Star Rewind, we will meet with real business owners who will tell their stories and how they do rely on reviews for their business. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or download us at roguemedianetwork.com. Please subscribe, but only rate and review for not a one-star review. Join us each time for a new review and a new story.
And now, back to the episode.
And we're back from our commercial break. So tonight is the big event. So tell me what to expect.
Yeah. So tonight from 6 to 8, we're going to be inviting the community, a lot of people who sort of championed the program, and of course, family and friends of Terry and Elaine Stevens on site. So we're really excited. And of course, most importantly, all of our apprentices,
the kids,
their families, and of course, all the artist mentors as well. So this is just a chance. We try to do this at the end of every single program to really celebrate and make sure that our apprentices feel seen in what they've accomplished, because it's a lot. In 8 weeks, they make a mural. Now they also create a show and a documentary. And man, I have seen those film apprentices working hard, all the layers. It really just makes me appreciate everyone who goes into that field. I mean, it's an art form, but it's also so much technical expertise.
I don't know anything. Like, they're always talking about cameras and mics and stuff, and I'm like, I'm just here to look pretty and use my voice.
And we are grateful for that. But it's really cool to see what they've created, and it was exciting. Like last night, I checked my email and there was the final film, and so the jumbotron's been delivered. That'll sort of be there to roll through, like, you know, the slideshow of like everyone who's been involved. We were lucky this year. Our designer was Natalie Ward, who's this amazing artist who teaches at Rappaport.
Shout out Rappaport and my hubby.
I know, yeah. So I was a super fan of Natalie's even before I met her, because I saw all these really cool mini murals being installed on one of the buildings at Quinn campus. And I was like, what is that about? And then I found out it's student generated and it's Natalie, and love her. So I'm really excited about celebrating her design and just how beautifully it wove in all the themes that are going on inside that building at Triple Win.
That's so
you know,
fun.
the STEM focus, but also sort of this, when you look at the piece, there's a great sense of movement and just, it makes me feel really positive. And the color palette just makes me happy.
Oh, yeah. I love the color palette. And this mural is so technical. And again, it's STEM based, which is so cool that the actual like the focus of the mural is also kind of like what you have to do to make a mural. So it's kind of like an all-inclusive type thing.
Yeah. And so they've entitled it Reaching Beyond, which I think is also really awesome. So, you know, it just makes me think about just the potential of not only Triple Win, but the community around it. So I'm really pleased, and I hope Triple Win is as well. It's
I'm
been
sure they
a
are.
lot of fun to partner with them. So we'll be celebrating all those things. Waco Acts will be out there tonight. Lemmy's, I believe, will be out there tonight. And just a good time gathering with everyone. We like to, you know, do some acknowledgments and then just share about the program and its future. So we've somehow been doing this for 4 years.
4 years.
And the exciting thing, I think, at this point is we're kind of getting out of that sort of toddler phase, I'll say. So
Go to school next year. 5. Get in there.
That's right. Well, I actually have joked and said I feel like sometimes I do need to go get a whole new degree. But that's the great thing. Again, theater people, we know how to improvise. Yes. So so that's been a really rich experience for me. But as far as our apprenticeship goes, you know, we're hoping to only keep growing and keep being the thing that Waco needs, right? That's a thing that's really important to me as I've seen our young creatives come through, is to see what sort of sparks their interest, what helps them feel empowered and connected to the community. We now have alumni who are graduating college.
That's crazy. And some of them came to your fundraising event.
And they'll be here tonight as well.
Yay. So unfortunately, this episode will come out after the event tonight.
Right.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But how can people get involved?
Yeah. So obviously, we want you to follow Creative Waco and Art Apprenticeship.
And has its own account.
Yes, it does. On Instagram and Facebook and all that good stuff. We have a wonderful website, creativewaco.org, that has a whole section dedicated to art apprenticeship as well. We're always looking for local businesses that want to sponsor or get involved. Every year, we do a fundraising campaign, and there are even opportunities, no matter sort of what your level of income is, we want people to feel like they can contribute in some sort of way, even if it's like monthly. And I hope that the thing that we can create, and I think we have created, is this way for us to also give back to those businesses by highlighting them, sharing what they do. And then, it's been really cool as I've gotten to know sort of the Waco entrepreneurial community is to watch all these businesses grow. The first year we started, I reached out to this little cute farmer's market stand that sold boba called Waco Chop.
Wow, never heard of that.
Yeah. And I DM'd them on Instagram, and I was like, hey, do you think you guys could cater some boba for an event? And I get this message back from Devin Lee, and he's like, hey, can we meet? And at that point, I didn't even realize they had just barely started doing what they were doing. Yeah. But that's how I got to know them.
Wow.
And of course, it's been beautiful. Exactly. Yeah, we love them. So
Cha.
Yeah, Cha community.
Cha community. Yes.
So it's been beautiful to see how they've grown. And Jaja and Devin have been a big part of speaking in to the program, encouraging the apprentices. I don't know how many times they've showed up with drinks or dumplings.
That's so fantastic.
And they've been masterclass leaders. So we've had so many other businesses who've been like that. Will Suarez with Be Kind Coffee.
Yes. Love me some Be Kind.
Yes. And so many incredible artists too. Brad Settles and Naomi Canali came and spoke to my kids this year. My kids, they're not my kids. They are young adults.
They're still your kids.
No, they're my apprentices.
They're your apprentices.
They are. But it's just such a beautiful testament to sort of the generosity of our creative community. But if you want to support the program or get more involved, we love volunteers. Go check out those channels on social media. And I'll give myself a shout out. You can follow me, Wheat Johnson, on Instagram as well, simply because I might share some inside information.
Yeah.
You never know.
Secret. Check them stories.
Yeah.
Always be posting.
That's right. That's true.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything else you would like to share with us today about the program, about how people get involved?
Yeah. Well, first, thank you so much for being a huge champion of the program and supporting our incredible apprentices. And then shout outs, I just say our incredible Creative Waco staff and team. In particular, our project manager this year, Sakina Dixon.
Shout out.
She came on right as the program started this year. I had heart surgery actually at the beginning of the summer, and
you've had a crazy summer.
Down. Yes, it was a little crazy, but you know what? It's glorious too.
Yeah.
So
everything, what is it? It comes back sevenfold. So if you go through a little turmoil, that means good things are going to happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
well, again, thank you. I'm so glad that we get to have this event tonight, and I hope these kids continue to grow in our community and find out that we have stuff to do here in Waco.
Yeah.
And we're going to make our future of Waco brighter.
They will make our future brighter.
They will, in fact.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again.
Thank you so much, Debbie.
Find us everywhere on all social media platforms, KNOW_Waco. Check us out at roguemedianetwork.com, and we're on YouTube under Rogue Media Network. Check out nowaco.com.